Hello friends, I am Kanchan from Akulmach Technologies and welcome to our famous show, The Great Kings of India. And today we'll be discussing about Skandgupta, who was the last great king of Gupta dynasty. To discuss further about this wonderful king, we have notable historian Mrs. Meeta Joshi, who is the head of the department of one of the prestigious college, St. College and Hyderabad. So welcome to the show, Meeta ji. Namaste. How are you?
Sure, Kanchan. I'm fine. How are you?
I am fine, ma'am. How was the festival?
All well.
Okay, so we are discussing about one very great, awesome king, Skandgupta, today.
Yes, Kanchan. Skandgupta is not so well known in the pages of history, but if you go little deep and study about him, he was the person who saved India from the Huna invasion. Hunas were the invaders, foreigners, and they were so brutal that China built the Great Wall of China to save China from the Huna invasions. So you can imagine that how brutal invaders they were. And when they heard about the Gupta Empire and Patliputra, so they came to India. That time, Kumar Gupta was the king. Kumar Gupta was Skandgupta's father, and Skandgupta was the son of his junior wife. The earlier, with the first wife, Purugupta was the son. With the second wife, Skandgupta was the son. And when Hunas came to India, that time Kumar Gupta was like around 60 years of age, and he thought that it is not good for him to go to the battlefield and fight the Hunas. So he asked his sons. So no one agreed except Skandgupta. Skandgupta said that he is going to take the fight with the Hunas. And the Hunas, they were, as I told you, they were very, very brutal.
Right.
And the first trait of Hunas were whenever they attacked, they first killed the little children because they don't want the succession to go on. They would kill the children, they would take women as prisoners and slaves. So, all kinds of brutality. So, that time, all the other kingdoms also, except the Gupta Empire, were very, very terrified by the Huna invasions. But Skandgupta, because he was a great warrior, he, with his war strategies, he motivated his army against the Hunas, and it is said that before the night, before the Huna invasions, he left the camp and he slept on the floor with the other soldiers to, encourage them. He had a talk with them and he said, we have to save our country from these invasions. And the next day, in the battlefield, this war was fought near the Ganga and Gomati Doab. Doab is the area between two rivers. So it was fought there, a very, very fierce battle. And finally, Skandgupta won. He defeated the Hunas. It is said that the Senapati of Hunas, he laid down him on the ground and he kept his leg on his chest.
Oh.
So his this heroic act made him very, very popular among the masses. And when he returned back to Patliputra, Kumar Gupta wanted his first wife's son, Puru Gupta, to be, become the successor after him because he was growing old. But in the historical records, we find a mention that all the people, all the public, they, came near the palace, and they started taking name of Skandgupta that he will be our king. So now Kumar Gupta had no other choice, because see, public say is very, very important. The general people, the subjects, they respected Skandgupta for his bravery.
Right.
And as I told you, the Hunas were so brutal that people thought that Skandgupta has saved all of them from. They were seen as demons, the Hunas. And even one of the historians, Dr. R.C. Majumdar, he mentions that he was the savior of India, Skandgupta, that time, which is a very big statement.
It's a very big
Because
statement.
yeah, because if Huna invasions would have continued, and then our all culture, heritage,
Yeah.
everything would have been finished.
Yeah.
Because in China they had, destroyed so many places. That's why this Great Wall of China was built only to save China from the Huna invasion. So you can imagine how powerful that army would have been.
Yes, I also feel that I feel that this is the king who is being selected by people. It's not like he is God.
He was he was the people's king.
Right.
He was the people's king, and see his dedication. He knew that his father wanted Purugupta to become the successor, so he did not marry. He remained unmarried his entire life, and he dedicated his entire life for the nation, for the country. And later, he handed over all the principles, all the legacy to his stepbrother Purugupta.
Oh, that was a great
And
gesture.
yes, otherwise, if you see, for the throne,
Mhm.
people used to kill their own kith and kins.
Right.
But on the contrary, Skandgupta, he did not marry because he wanted his brother Purugupta to be the successor.
Mhm.
And we find mention of his victories over Hunas in many, inscriptions, like the Junagarh inscription in Gujarat. It tells about his victory. Bhitari inscription tells about his victory over the Hunas, and not only his victory, his character, because he was a person who was only and only devoted to his nation. He wanted to save the glory of the nation. He wanted to save the culture of India from these foreign invasions. So, all that is written in many inscriptions. Not only inscriptions, there is one place, near Patliputra, which is known as Honihar. So there was that was the place where this battle was fought. So the name of that place was kept as Hunihar, where Hunas were killed. So still that place exists. And not only as a warrior we should remember Skandgupta, but as Dr. R.C. Majumdar rightly frames him as the savior of Indian culture. Because see, invaders, they the first thing they do is they try to destroy the culture and heritage of a country. That is their main. Money is one thing, wealth is another thing, but because they have this mentality, they want their supremacy. So what they do, they they break the monuments, they try to burn all the records. It is said for Hunas that wherever they went, they turned that place into ashes. They burnt everything after killing people. So they were so brutal. So he was the person, Skandgupta was the person who saved India from these Huna invasions, and indirectly he saved our culture, heritage, everything. And Not only he was a great warrior, he was a great town planner. His coinage is very very unique because in his time we find around five types of coins which are of golds also, 9 grams. The weight of the coins were 9.2 grams. So coinage also he did a commendable work. He built many temples of Vishnu, Lord Vishnu. So that way also we get to know about his era. And if you see the time period, it was from 455 to 467 CE. And after his rule, he handed over everything to Purugupta, his stepbrother, because it was his father's wish to make Purugupta the successor. But his father was, that time he had no other choice because public wanted Skandgupta to be the successor.
So I think we need to celebrate this king more because he is the one who is responsible for so many uh, good things like saving the culture and escape. I mean, fighting with Huns, where China was also very trouble. He's created this particular tribe created so much of trouble in China also. A part of this, I think the coinage and the economic system which he established, we still find the mention of that particular system even in Ashoka and in Mauryan Empire. The coinage system, the economic system. So I think Skandgupta, which we have mentioned very little, especially in a textbook, I think they need to be mentioned more. What you would think about this?
We should read more about, such great kings because we get to know about how they dedicated their lives for the nation. Especially Skandgupta, and he was also known as Skandgupta Vikramaditya, whose whose glory was far and wide. Even in foreign countries, people used to sing songs about his courage, about his bravery. So he was that famous, Skandgupta. And after him, you don't find any prominent Gupta successor. Puru Gupta was there, he was very much there, but after that, then Gupta Empire declined. So he was the you may say that he was the last important king of the Gupta Empire. He
Yes.
was the last important king.
Yeah, apart of this, I've also read that not only he built Vishnu temples, he was a religious person, but he has given freedom to practice any religion because we also see that he has built Buddha and Jain temples also.
Chaityanas and Viharas, yes. See,
Yes.
he in his time period, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism, all those three religions flourished. That means people were given a choice to choose their own religion. They were given this choice.
So a
So
part
religion,
of yes. So I think a part of a great general, a very lovable king, and I think he's very economically wise, also very wise and established a rich empire under him.
yes, his town planning is very much mentioned in the pages of history. That he, developed the infrastructure of the Gupta Empire. And as I told you, his coinage is very, very unique. We find in some coins, one side of the coin, his photograph and his name, another side of the coin, the goddess Lakshmi, who is supposed to be the goddess of money. So his coins are very, very unique. You find Garuda photographs also in the coins. So Garuda bird was his kingdom's this what you say pratik. Garuda, the bird
No,
Garuda.
maybe I'm
Yes,
wrong there.
yes.
Okay.
So you find many inscriptions like Junagadh inscription in Gujarat, then Ditari inscription, and only and only praise for him in all the inscriptions. He is being praised for his bravery and courage which he showed against the Huna army.
Yeah, I feel that kings like Skandgupta, they need to celebrate it more, and I think we should have more stories concerning his profile to be told in schools and to be told by parents. So it's very, very essential. Somebody who stopped Huns. Otherwise, the history of India would be different.
It
So
would not have been the same if Hunas would have, they would have destroyed our all heritage.
yes. So it was really wonderful talking to you about this great king Skandgupta. We will be discussing about more great kings of India in our next episode. Till then, bye bye. Take care.
Thank you, Kanchan.